Coming up on 5 Minute News. US DACA child migrant program ruled unlawful by judge. Mitt Romney calls Trump a demagogue and announces retirement. And Antarctica enters new regime of low sea ice. It's Thursday, September 14. I'm Anthony Davis. A US judge has ruled against a program offering deportation relief and work permits to immigrants brought into the country illegally as children, known as Dreamers, despite an attempt by President Joe Biden's administration to bolster the program's standing with new regulation. The decision by Texas-based U.S. District Court Judge Andrew Hanen deals a fresh setback to the program called Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, or DACA, and its 579,000 enrollees and other immigrants who might have hoped to be approved. Hanen, a Republican-appointed judge, found a regulation issued last year by Biden's Democratic administration did not remedy legal deficiencies that led him to find DACA unlawful in 2021 and block any expansion of the program, which has been in place for more than a decade. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security can continue to renew the status of those enrolled in DACA prior to Hanen's 2021 ruling, he said. Many DACA recipients speak English and have jobs, homes, and families in the United States. Hanen wrote that the order did not require U.S. immigration authorities to take any immigration, deportation, or criminal action against any DACA recipients, applicant, or any other individual that would otherwise not be taken. The ruling, which came in response to a lawsuit brought by Texas and other states, is expected to be appealed. Thomas Saenz, president of the Mexican-American Legal Defense and Educational Fund, which represents DACA recipients siding with the Biden administration in the litigation, called Hanen's ruling more of the same flawed analysis. Texas and other 8 states with Republican attorneys general argue that the program violates federal regulatory law and saddles them with costs related to education, health care, and law enforcement. Disgraced former President Trump sought to end DACA but was rebuffed by the U.S. Supreme Court, which found Trump's termination did not comply with regulatory laws. Senator Mitt Romney of Utah, a former presidential nominee and a rare moderate in the Republican Party of Donald Trump, has said he will not run for a second term next year, depriving the party of one of its fiercest critics in Congress of the disgraced former president and his far-right authoritarian movement. It is pretty clear that the party is inclined to a populist demagogue message, he said in an interview with the Washington Post, in which he announced his retirement. Romney lost the 2012 presidential election to Barack Obama and entered Congress in 2018. Before that, he was governor of Massachusetts between 2003 and 2007. Amid increased scrutiny of the advanced age of many U.S. politicians, 76-year-old Romney said it was time for a new generation to step up and shape the world they're going to have to live in. He also said he did not think a second term that would end in his 80s could be as effective as his first. That, Romney said, was in part down to a far-right-dominated House Republican Party, which made it difficult for that chamber to operate, and in part down to a looming 2024 presidential election between the incumbent Joe Biden and his predecessor Trump. Trump faces 91 criminal charges, including 17 for election subversion and 40 over the retention of classified information and numerous civil lawsuits, but still leads Republicans polling in the 2024 nomination race by huge margins. Record low Antarctic sea ice in recent years may be a sign the region has entered a new regime of low sea ice coverage driven by warming. The study, conducted by Australian scientists, described a breakdown in the link between sea ice and the atmosphere over Antarctica. It suggests that the area may have entered a new regime in which previously important relationships no longer dominate sea ice variability. While for many years Antarctic sea ice increased despite increasing global temperatures, it appears that we now may be seeing the inevitable decline long projected by climate models. Scientists say the regime shift in sea ice coverage will likely have far-reaching repercussions for both local Antarctic ecosystems and the global climate system. The sea ice decline is likely to affect Antarctic species such as krill, a foundational species in the Southern Ocean food web, as well as animals that live on the ice. Thousands of emperor penguin chicks are believed to have died last summer due to the breakup of usually stable sea ice at a time when the chicks had not yet grown their full waterproof feathers. Professor Matthew England, an oceanographer and climate scientist at the University of New South Wales, agreed that ocean warming was the likely primary culprit. He said the loss of Antarctic sea ice was concerning for two reasons. First, because it provides a protective buffer for ice shelves, so its loss exposes those shelves and amplifies sea level rises. 5 Minute News is an Evergreen podcast covering politics, inequality, health and climate, delivering independent, unbiased and essential world news daily.